What would happen if every internet cable suddenly got cut? Your Wi-Fi could still show full bars while the actual internet behind it is completely gone. Payments freeze, cloud apps vanish, and group chats go feral. But here's the weird part. The internet wouldn't completely die. It would break into digital islands. And that gets strange. So let's cut the internet. Scientifically, not legally. First surprise, the internet does not actually live in a cloud. The cloud is mostly someone else's computer. And that computer is connected using a lot of very real cable. Thousands of kilometers of fiber run across land and beneath oceans. Undersea cables carry more than 99% of intercontinental data. Not satellites, actual cables sitting at the bottom of the sea. In deep water, many are only about as wide as a garden hose. Inside are glass fibers roughly as thin as human hair. Your data travels through them as incredibly fast pulses of light. Your cat video is basically high-speed underwater disco Morse code. So what happens when one of these cables goes snip, usually, much less than the disaster movie in your head? Networks normally redirect the data through alternative routes. The internet was deliberately built with multiple possible paths. It's like Google Maps, but the cars are packets of data. Rerouting. Please avoid the unexpected hole in the Atlantic. You might notice slower speeds, or notice absolutely nothing. Other cables quietly absorb the traffic while everyone continues scrolling, but places with fewer alternative connections have a much bigger problem. A single break can severely reduce an entire country's international access. Local websites might work while services hosted abroad suddenly disappear. Video calls freeze at the exact moment you look least intelligent, and your colleagues will absolutely take a screenshot. So who keeps attacking our precious underwater internet tubes? You may have heard that sharks enjoy eating internet cables, but sharks are mostly victims of extremely effective public relations. Fishing equipment is a much more realistic cable-destroying suspect, and ship anchors cause a large share of accidental damage. Did we just pull something? Probably nothing. Keep going. Earthquakes, underwater landslides, and equipment failures also cause faults. And yes, deliberate damage is possible, although difficult and extremely serious. Globally, submarine cable faults happen several times every week. You rarely hear about them because redundancy usually saves the day. When redundancy takes over, a specialized repair ship is dispatched. Engineers first estimate where the damaged section is hiding. The ship may lower a giant grappling hook into the ocean. It is essentially the world's most expensive arcade claw machine. The damaged cable is caught and slowly pulled toward the surface. Technicians cut away the damaged part and insert a replacement. Every tiny glass fiber must then be precisely spliced together. Basically surgery, except the patient contains everyone's browser history. Once tested, the repaired cable returns to the ocean floor. Bad weather, permits, and long travel distances can delay everything. But now let's increase the difficulty. Several cables break together. International traffic squeezes onto the few routes that remain. The information superhighway becomes the information rush hour traffic jam. Latency rises, downloads slow down, and online games become interpretive dance. Your beautiful 4K stream transforms into 12 emotionally significant pixels. Banks, logistics companies, cloud applications, and international businesses start struggling. The entire office gathers around the one spreadsheet that still opens. Locally stored services and cached content may continue working normally. Humanity survives using one cached cat video from 2014. The global internet slowly begins turning into several regional internets. Now activate nightmare mode. Every intercontinental cable is suddenly cut. The internet would not disappear. It would shatter. Countries and continents would become isolated digital islands. Domestic networks could still communicate with systems hosted inside their region. Local news, local messaging, and some national services might survive, but internationally hosted cloud services could become completely unreachable. Your password is correct. The computer containing it is across an ocean. Payments, supply chains, financial markets, and remote work face major disruption. Your smart refrigerator might survive. Your cloud-based job might not. At last, the refrigerator becomes the most employable member of your household. But wait, can satellites swoop in and save the internet? They could provide emergency connections and restore some essential communication, but they cannot replace the enormous capacity of the global cable network. That's like replacing a motorway with a bicycle lane. Critical communication would receive priority. Entertainment traffic would probably be sacrificed. The final episode of your show will have to remain a mystery. Meanwhile, the largest cable repair operation in history would begin. Connections would gradually return as cables were repaired or replaced. Until then, keep offline maps, some cache, and important files stored locally, and subscribe now before somebody accidentally unplugs the ocean. Would you survive 1 week without the internet?